What's up, everybody? Welcome to Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso, coming to you from inside the, what the hell is this place? Seminole Correctional Institution in Cushing, Oklahoma. Before I begin, I just want to say thoughts and prayers to everybody out there. Israel, Iran even, everybody, because I think it's getting ready to jump. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, but we're watching the news from inside here like everybody else, or like many people out there, I should say. Except those who are camping. It's an inside joke. Anyway, so I just wanted to go back. The title is actually a little bit off, and I'll go ahead and explain. So it's 9:30 on the East Coast about. So 5 hours ago today, I was actually locked down in SCI Terre Haute. We just got released for count. And I'm sorry, it was COVID, but we got out for some phone time. And I was standing in line, actually getting ready, about to get in my first fight in a few years, and over the phone. And I was called down to the counselor's office. And at first, I didn't really know. I was sitting there for a second, and because I was engaged in almost this fight. And I went downstairs, and there was my case manager, and called me into the office. I've said this story before, and she wanted me to shut the door. Well, in prison, a lot of times I don't like to be alone with staff. It's kind of like a no-no in a lot of prisons. Anyway, so I did shut the door. I sat down, and she pushed the telephone, and it was my case manager, my old case manager, Mrs. Boo. And she just said, Rosso, you're going to get released. Judge out of the Western District of Arkansas just reduced your sentence to 25 years. And I've said it before, I've talked about this, and at first it didn't register because she said my sentence was reduced. And I had a compassionate release motion in, and it was something that I wasn't expecting was a sentence reduction. I was expecting just to either a yes or no on the compassionate release. Nevertheless, it was reduced to 25 years, which still meant that I was getting out. But my brain really couldn't compute it at first, and I did. If there was in a chair, I probably would have hit the floor. And I just remember, I can feel it right now. Just what a feeling it was. And it was for sure one of the happiest days of my life, the other being December 7th, 2017. But it was definitely one of the just one of the most incredible moments. I sit down and I think about that day now. And what happened then is they had to compute my time. So it was all close to 5. That's when everybody goes home. So I didn't get out till the next day, of course. I was supposed to get out in the morning. There was a fight that ensued in my block, and I got out. It was like just between 2 and 4, 3 o'clock, whatever, somewhere around there. But I just think back about that time now, and it hurts in a way. I'll say that. At the same time, I'm not stuck in here with a life sentence like I was. And let me tell you guys something. I have been doing legal stuff as of late. And I've been doing a lot of case law research. And I've been researching the compassionate release statute, the one that I got out on. And it seems like in a lot of cases, they're closing the door on little loopholes or whatever if you want to call it that, or the criteria that will allow somebody out. And I am so freaking lucky that I got out. I mean, I just sit there and I read these cases, and it's just like I don't know if I would have gotten out if I had to file that today. I really don't, because things have changed a bit, quite a bit actually. They've gotten more conservative on letting people go in that manner, and it just I just have to stop and pause and just once again thank my judge and just really making me search inside myself a lot more about what I've done since my release. I will say this till my grave. I cannot apologize for being an addict. I can't, but I can probably try a lot better. It is. I'm trying to think. It's. Well, let me put it this way. I remember Chief Probation Officer of the West District of Arkansas, named Brent Young, my favorite person. I remember that right before I came in, and we both knew I was getting violated, I for sure thought I was going to have 3 years right now. That was actually before my first hearing, which was January the 18th. I went in, and I remember talking to him. It was a urine test, and we were sitting there waiting for the urine to come back negative, by the way. And he said, I made a comment, and we were talking, and I said, I'm going to end up getting 3 years. And he said, Ross, if you get 3 years, you've won. Look at it that way. You won. What does it matter? You won. And it didn't feel like I won at the time because I was facing that. Of course, I didn't get the 3 years I expected. As a matter of fact, the judge let me stay out and probably would have let me stay out longer because of my cancer situation had I not did what I did, which was use and say that I was dirty on a test that I wasn't, in anticipation of using, because in my brain, I needed that last hurrah, and that's what fucked me off ultimately. But I did it to I say the words, I did it to myself again. Yeah, I did. I just hesitate because of the addiction issue. At the same time, like I said, it's this last couple weeks, especially, I've been trying to really search deeper. Well, no, that's not true. Going back to when I first got locked up, I was trying to find ways to find the person inside of me that I was when I was incarcerated. And I mean going back to 2007 and 2011 when I was sober. And I was doing a live one night, and I've talked about it several times, when I started reading some of the stuff that I wrote, and it hurt because I didn't recognize that person anymore. Like, I couldn't write like that because of what I've done, because of the drugs and alcohol. I couldn't even, when I was reading it at times, and I don't know if anybody, I'm sure some of you were watching or have watched some of those lives, and it was just, I was reading it, and it killed me. Because, like I said, I knew I couldn't write like that no more. I thought I wasn't going to ever be able to again. I've been using this time to try to find ways to find that person again. And I've been doing, I'm sober in that manner. But I've got a lot of work to do. Had some setbacks here the last couple of weeks for damn sure. But that doesn't mean that I'm not trying. I had said the other day that I am worried about my release, but there's several reasons for that. But I'm even trying to get over that. But anyway, so I just wanted to go back and reflect about that time and say how grateful and lucky I am. I mean, and when I say that, I mean, if you guys knew anything about the law, and I really have taken it for granted, a lot of things, my release especially, and just rereading some of these cases and looking at the new case law that's coming out of compassion releases, it's just it just gave me the chills. I mean, it's been an eye opener. Yeah. So anyway, I also remember how much hope that I had, and of course, I live every day with the regret on how much I fucked up in the last 3 years. But this too shall end. This can only last 10 more months, like max. I mean, that's if I do day for day and don't do halfway house and don't do ankle monitor, home of confinement or whatever. Where I'm at right now, I can't because I'm not in BOP custody. I'm in the private prison. But even if I sat here and they kept me here, it's only 10 more months, and even though these 10 months are probably going to be real long if I have to do it, it's crazy because having a life sentence was a lot easier than having a date. Even though I don't have a date, than having just months drag by, as opposed to not worrying about or thinking about when you're going to get out and just hoping that day is going to come. I always knew it. I was always positive about it. I never thought I'd be stuck in there for life. But I very easily could still be in there with a life sentence. And I'm almost kind of speechless when I think about it. And last night really was when I spent probably 5 hours yesterday towards the night reading a bunch of compassion release cases. And that's when it just really hit me. Then I realized what today was. April the 12th is when I got the word. April the 13th is when I got out. I will say to people who have loved ones that have done a long time, and I'm talking about a couple decades, so the guys that have done 10, let me tell you something, a couple of years is a freaking long time. I don't want to downplay that. And society changes so fast. Have a little bit of patience, and I'm not trying to say that on any of my family or friends that didn't have patience, because people did. I'm trying to say that because society moves so fast, it takes a while if they can get acclimated to it. People being institutionalized is a real thing. I struggle with that label for myself, even though I am, because in here, people would think the opposite. Like, I don't conform in here. Like I even told myself that I did at times. And what I mean by that is, I stay away from chow halls as much as I can. In prison, when I was doing my life sentence, I was fortunate because I had plenty of money. People supporting me, so that I didn't have to go to the chow hall that much or whatever. And I mean, there's times I didn't go. I didn't go for 6 months one time, but I rarely ever went to dinner. Never went to breakfast. I mean, just on occasions, and lunch was like a mandatory. But anyway, that's part of being institutionalized. What I'm getting at. I mean, it's way broader than that. And but what I'm trying to say to the people,
you have 1 minute remaining.
The guys that have done decades, just remember that they don't know a lot about technology and stuff, and that can be a real breaker to some people. And it's not just me. I've talked to guys that are back on violation, did a long time. We all have the same not complaints, but the same struggles. We all have different struggles as far as technology in the world, just like leaving us behind, kind of. But anyway, just want to say again today, I'm grateful that I was able to get out of the life sentence, and for sure regretful, but for sure grateful. All right, take care, and everybody, like I said, thoughts and prayers go out to you for what's going on in the world. Take care.